Check out Bitcoin prices this morning. They're falling sharply, dipping below the 59,000 level in overnight trading. The sell-off was said to be sparked by a wave of leverage-driven liquidation.
The Bitcoin price is in heavy consolidation, coming off of this dip as much as 30% in the last few weeks. Of course, if you subscribe to Altcoin Daily, you know the reasons this sell-off is happening.
If you think about, whether it was the German government, the Silk Road, Mt. Gox, the unwinding of the Japanese carry trade, really billions of dollars of Bitcoin flow was absorbed. And what you saw was that Bitcoin is still up 38% year to date. And so I think it's really bullish for the space. It really goes to show, as you mentioned, that there is that dry powder. They're sitting on the sidelines that's ready to look at Bitcoin as a store of value.
So we've really just been through some of the biggest sell-offs since the FTX collapse, including a major government selling off 100% of their Bitcoin, Mt. Gox redistributions, which has been looming over us for years, Japan's yen carry trade, which sucked liquidation out of all markets. All selling was absorbed, Bitcoin still up 38% year to date. But we are not out of the woods yet. Whether it's the SEC now calling all NFTs securities.
NFT marketplace OpenSea says it received a Wells notice from the SEC. The company's CEO, Devin Finzer, took to X, saying the agency is threatening to sue and claims that NFTs on OpenSea's platform are securities. A Wells notice is a warning from the SEC that often precedes a lawsuit.
Whether it's Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson seemingly missing days before the Chang hard fork.
The Chang hard fork upgrade was initially supposed to take place this week, but has been pushed back to September 1st so that some exchanges, including Binance, could prepare. That's according to a post on X from Cardano co-founder Charles Hoskinson.
But the biggest thing, the 10th largest cryptocurrency by market cap in the world, Telegram's Toncoin, has officially been paused.
There's another story here in the crypto world that I'm watching, Tim, and that is Toncoin, a token that is linked to the messaging app Telegram and the 10th largest crypto asset. It lost more than $2.7 billion in value by Monday morning after Telegram CEO was detained in France over alleged child protection failures in the app.
So here was the official announcement from Ton. The Ton blockchain is currently experiencing a disruption in block production. This issue is occurring due to the abnormal load currently on Ton. Several validators are unable to clean the database of old transactions, which has led to losing consensus. Stay tuned for more updates here. Rest assured, your transactions will be made. No cryptocurrency assets will be lost due to the issue.
So it's linked to Telegram, but it's not necessarily that the two are intertwined. One company runs the other. But Ton is the native cryptocurrency of the Telegram app. So users wanting to send payments over the network, they can do so in Ton or in other cryptocurrencies. And there's a whole wealth of other apps that are now building on top of that network using Ton. Things like video games being played inside the app. Those have gotten more and more popular this year. And so any kind of hit to Ton is definitely a hit to the industry.
So Toncoin was paused due to an overload on the network. We've seen Solana paused or temporarily shut down a handful of times over the last few years. Of course, this one coming mere days just after the CEO of Telegram was detained in France for not censoring the platform. To me, this is very reminiscent of what happened with Tornado Cash. Should the developers or people that made the protocol be responsible for the criminals that use it?
And I think it goes similarly hand in hand with what happened with Tornado Cash. It's still not yet clear if the founder actually knew of all of the things that he's being accused of by the French regulators today happening on the messaging app, or if they're just accusing him of building and facilitating these conversations that were happening on the platform.
Now, it appears that the Ton blockchain is still down. They're saying this is due to the heavy load attributed to dogs token minting. So just use, congestion of the network. And even if the worst should happen to the founder of Telegram, and let's say he does get put in jail for 20 years for crimes that other people committed on his platform, other crypto channels that are telling you this is the end of Toncoin are just plain wrong.
There are very clear actions that Telegram can take in order to continue to remain active in the market. Obviously, institutional investors will not want to use it if, for example, Telegram makes the decision not to go ahead and move forward with the actions the French regulators want them to. But I really don't see that getting to that case, just given how important it is to the ecosystem today. Really, this is about sharing information. And it has been shared in previous cases, for example, the FTX case, in which they did get access to a number of Telegram conversations. So this has been done before in the past. It's going to be really interesting to see, again, what role the CEO played. But it's not to say, and I don't think that this is, the end-all, be-all of Telegram.
And it's very interesting that the day that OpenSea receives a Wells notice from the SEC, one step before a lawsuit saying that NFTs are securities, and you have an unregistered securities exchange, one day before this, Donald Trump again released another set of Trump trading card NFTs, this time on Bitcoin ordinals.
This is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. By popular demand, I'm doing a new series of Trump digital trading cards. You all know what they are. We've had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection. 50 all-new stunning digital trading cards. It's really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some Bitcoin.
So Gary Gensler is the head of the SEC. Donald Trump has made it clear, if elected, he'll fire Gary Gensler day one. But for now, Gary Gensler and the SEC are going full throttle against NFTs and the main NFT platform. Actually, OpenSea joins the ranks of Coinbase, Uniswap, Robinhood, Kraken, Consensus, all being sued by the SEC as well.
This follows a string of Wells notices received by Web3 companies this year, including Consensus and Uniswap in April and Robinhood Crypto in May. Consensus was then sued by the regulator in late June. Of course, unlike OpenSea, these aren't platforms that focus on NFTs, but the SEC has targeted specific projects in the past, including Mila Kunis-backed Stoner Cats.
Gensler and the SEC are handing out Wells notices like they're Halloween candy. Congrats and welcome to the club, says CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong. I'm long Wells notice companies, and why something like this, saying all NFTs are securities, is outrageous, is because we should not regulate digital art in the same way we regulate collateralized debt obligations. If you're playing a video game and you get a skin in the game and that's also an NFT, that's an unregistered security. If NFTs are securities, then so are my Pokemon cards. Honestly, companies like Coinbase and Uniswap and OpenSea will win against the SEC, at least a settlement, because if nothing else, these private crypto companies have so much more money than a government regulator/entity. This could cause a lot of short-term FUD and maybe last year's in court, or if Gary Gensler gets booted, either before the election or after. And if nothing else, after these next couple weeks, the Fed is about to pivot, which is bullish.
Yeah, I think that if cheap capital floods into the market, people will go and they will push out on the risk curve. The nice thing about Wall Street is that Bitcoin is still considered one of the riskier assets in their portfolio. And so I think assets will flow there. But also, I think that if you look at the crypto industry, they look at this as an asset that they buy and they hold. They do not sell this asset. And so it'll remain illiquid. You'll have Wall Street kind of allocating to it. And as we've seen when interest rates have gone down or cheap capital has flooded into the market in the past, Bitcoin has done very, very well.